Man, look at that. That's your place? You got a badass billiard table in the back there? Or that's not snooker, that's billiards.
That is pool table, yeah. Billiard, as you call it, yeah. Pool table.
Pool
Absolutely.
table. I don't know why I said billiards. I always say pool, but yeah.
Well, billiards is good.
Yeah.
Equally good. Yeah, man, that's kind of, that's probably one of the most important bits of furniture in this room, to be honest with you, including the pianos. that keeps the head right, you know.
Yeah, it keeps the sanity.
I've listened to every mix of every record by a pool table, and I can't imagine it ever doing it any different way. It's kind of I don't know. It's good. It's good sometimes because sometimes when you're sitting in it, right, and you're sitting in the mix and the edit, you don't get that big picture.
Yeah.
And I find sometimes just after a day of it, give yourself a break from it for a while.
Yep.
Bounce down all the mixes, and then put them on and shoot pool.
Yeah.
Because then you're focused on your geometry, right?
Right.
You know, and your pacing, and you're listening to the stuff like you listen to other,
Right. You kind of you get to remove yourself and be sort of like a passive listener again, instead of being so detail oriented or lost in the losing the forest through the trees shit, where if something really stands out while you're playing pool, you're like, okay, yeah, now I gotta fix that.
Yeah.
Well, man, how you doing? It's so good to see you, like see your face,
Likewise,
hear your voice.
Likewise, yeah, I'm doing good. Colton, God, since last I spoke to you, that's a good few years ago now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the last time I saw you, was it when I picked you up from the airport, or was it when you played at there was like a church downtown?
I played in town, and you and Shakir came. That's when last I saw you. I think.
Yeah.
But even that was brief, you know what I mean? It's not like we got the...
Yeah.
So Flip, a lot's happened since then, dude. We came back here to Scotland, and then we moved down to London for a bit because my daughter got into a school down there, like a theatre school.
Oh, awesome.
So we moved, which was cool. And we moved down there for that. And then all hell broke loose, The world ended and went, tits up. And long story short, we came back up home here to Scotland.
Yeah.
And realized, okay, if we go back down to London here in September, I reckon the schools are going to go into lockdown again, and then we're all going to be stuck in that wee pokey house. We were very grateful of that little house that we had. It was kind of almost gifted to us from friends,
Yeah.
We were getting it for next to nothing. So as we were very happy about it, but it was a world away from being here in Scotland, where you walk out your back door and you're surrounded by, a lack of human intent. You know what I mean? Just mountains and
man.
shit that is way older and way wiser than you'll ever be able to conceive of,
Right. Instead of the hustle and bustle and craziness, I'm sure that's in London.
Yeah. So we stayed here. We just thought, and my daughter, she made the decision herself too. She was going like, nah, I don't want to, even though it was a great school that she got into, she was like, nah, I don't want to be doing that from home. What's the,
Yeah. Is a theater school from home? That's what
I know. Like, how would that even work, right?
Yeah.
But listen, the schools are all doing the best they can in the given circumstances. I don't think nobody was prepared for this.
No,
obviously, So yeah, I would hate to be leading a school right now.
Yeah, they're stuck in a really tight situation of they've got a lot of bills to cover and a lot of it's just nobody saw this coming, so they're trying to scramble to get shit fixed and try to open up in a way that's safe for everybody. It's so tough and such a dynamic environment because things are changing with this all the time. So it's hopefully this vaccine stuff starts to really kick in and spread around and
I'm just gonna I haven't got one yet. I'm just gonna wait and see if people start twitching.
Yeah, when they're like, it doesn't work like a normal vaccine. It works on your DNA or something. I was like, well, that's how you get zombies, right? Like, isn't that how? You get an injection and then it fucks the people. And then I was like, I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'm not eligible yet, but
Do you know what? A friend of mine who works in a sort of a risky situation. He's same age as me, but it was available to him. Because of his job, and he said to them. They came out to give the vaccines, and he said, "Look, I'm allergic to penicillin. Is that going to be a problem?" And they said, "It should be all right." He was like, Well, then I don't want it. You know, what do you mean it should be all right? Give me another.
Fine.
So you had to take another couple of weeks and do a bit more research. You know, so
yeah.
I think. Listen, it's obviously a good thing, right? The vaccine. We all got vaccine for the whooping cough and for measles, and you know we get our BCGs and our boosters and all that, and MMR. You know, like I guess it's just because it's a new thing.
Yeah. Those other things have been around since I was before I was alive, so it's just kind of like grandfathered into this thing that you do. But when it's like you can see it from the inception of like we need a vaccine, and then they go, you're like, here it is. You're like, ooh.
Yeah, and in today's age, where we're talking about, you know, Elon Musk is talking about, you know, uploading like shit to your brain and having like, you know, access, you know, you can't help but think weird shit like, what are they putting in us? There's a chip. They're putting a chip in. You know what I mean? Track and trace. That's it. They're gonna, and then we're all just gonna be, you know, doing their will.
Yeah,
we're already doing their will anyway. Let's face it. They got us fear mongered like sheep. You know, go on, jump and come by. You know, all doing their fucking bidding.
Yeah. Well, you should come see Arizona. It's not quite. It's a bunch of outlaws and psychos that are just fucking full on.
Has that not always been Arizona though?
Yeah. They're like, what? Pandemic? Fuck it. We're just. Yeah. It's been interesting.
Yeah.
Man.
You're back in Arizona then?
Yeah.
I thought you were still in Nashville.
No, we moved back in May. Yeah.
Right.
Just kind of, it was sort of in the cards. Eventually, I think we wanted to move back just to, you know, if we wanted to have our own family and stuff. We were kind of on an island in Nashville. The only people we knew or hung out with were, you know, like Jakir and the other guys we'd work with. And it was like, we had sort of put it maybe in 5 years, we'll move back to Arizona. And then all fucking hell broke loose, and we were like sort of sitting in lockdown and looking at like maybe they were saying this was right when everything was going to go crazy. They're like, you know, we're going to hit a depression and like going to have the worst economy and since the Great Depression. And we were like, fuck, you know, last year we were upside down in our house. So it was like, let's just look to see what it's at now. And it was like we were up and we could sell and get out of some debt stuff, or we're like, well, maybe we'll just list it and see what happens. And it was like and like I think by the time we decided, well, like let's just list it and see what happens, to the time we like sold was like maybe a week tops. It was like, oh shit.
Wow.
It happened really fast. It wasn't a lot of time to think about it.
Well, that was a clear sign. It was time to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah, we just took it as like, well, that's what we're doing now. So it was.
That's the universe looking out for you, mate. Just going, look, there you go. Take that and get the fuck out of here. Trust me.
Yeah, and it was good. You know, I'm still really close to Jakir. Jakir and I talk all the time, but it was just one of those things where our working relationship was coming to like a natural head. Where he was doing a lot more stuff on his own and I was doing more stuff on my own, and we'd still come together for certain things, but it was just kind of one of those things where it was good to, you know, separate and then just be friends, you know? So,
yeah, no, I heard your podcast with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tuned into that. It was cool, actually. I enjoyed listening to that.
Oh, thanks. It was funny because we were both so super nervous for it. Like, even after the fact, like, we were like text each other, like, man, I don't know why I was really nervous. He's like, me too. It's like,
well, do you know what? It was surprisingly candid.
Really?
From the get go. Well, you started with kind of laying out sort of what Jakir meant to you by being a mentor to you type thing, and it was sort of a sweet entry, you know, and knowing, because I know Jakir, I was intrigued to see what his answer was.
Yeah.
Well, how's he going to respond to this? You know, well, firstly, thank you. You know, he's like, what? Oh, okay.
Start him off on the back foot, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just such a sweet dude.
Yeah, he really is, man. And that was.
He's as sweet as he is fierce, actually.
Yes, equal parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah, it's because he cares a lot. That's what makes it that way. And that was a big part of why I wanted to have him on, because there's a lot of Jakir content on the internet, rightfully so. He's a very public and well-known figure in what we do, but nobody really knows him like I feel like I do. Like we got to spend 7 years, jeez, a better part of a decade working really closely together, and like
all day, every day, more or less.
Yeah, sometimes 16, 18-hour days, 6 days a week, or however long, and it was I kind of wanted to just have a conversation and let people like see the real Jakir. And that's honestly why I started doing this, was like I have so many cool friends that I just want people to see how cool I know they are, and
you're trying to get them to see how cool you are. That's what this is about, Colton.
Yeah,
that's what this is about. Let's face it.
Yeah, it's all about my ego. Yes.
Yeah.
You caught me.
Then as soon as you get enough attention, then you're going to release that shredding record. Do people even know you shred? Have you done any shredding on here, or you just come on and talk about EQs and compressors and stuff?
Actually, we very rarely even talk about EQs or compressors. It's just we talk about life and bullshit. And I mean, I think I've talked to a couple engineers where it got into tech stuff, but we mostly just talk about, I mean, this is such like a head game. Like recording is so much more psychology and a headspace thing. I feel like that it's more important to kind of talk about that kind of shit than it is what EQ you're using, or like, it doesn't matter what microphone I put in front of you, you're still going to sound fucking awesome. So that's really not the most important part of that, is it? It's making you feel comfortable wherever you're at and making you feel like it's okay to be as vulnerable as you need to be in that moment, as opposed to worrying so heavily about what the gear is. So at least that's my perspective on it. I don't really know, but so that. Although and to boost
good
my
gear
ego
is essential, though. I mean, you can get away with a shitty microphone because it gives you a perfect sound. You can get away with a shitty guitar because it works on that one.
Right.
This piano right here, this first piano, it's not a great piano. I couldn't use that in all but 1 out of 20 songs.
Right.
That come this, but it's got its own thing. But I think I found that sort of building up a studio over the years, like a home studio just to record with.
Yeah.
You really notice the difference. You just, soon as you invest in the microphone.
Yes.
And you go, oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I should invest in better converters. And then you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And as soon as you start, it's not like you need a lot of stuff, really, is it?
No.
I don't have a lot of stuff in here, but I have enough to make an album. Put it that way.
Yeah.
So
and thank God nowadays you don't need as much to make an album. Like I run my entire studio off of one Apollo, and it's enough to do everything. And I've got a handful of decent mics. I don't have all the best mics, but you're right though. The first time you like upgrade and you hear a good mic, you're like, oh shit. I think back to one of my first days working with Jakir. He had me go like, hey, will you go talk into that microphone? And it was a 251, a Telefunken 251, and I went to like $30,000 microphone through like a Neve $10,000 preamp, and I went and put the headphones on. As soon as I put the headphones on, I went, check. Holy shit. Like, right. Without even meaning to. We're like, holy shit, I've never heard anything like this before. So you're right. It's an important part, but I think the perspective I'm coming from it is a lot of young engineers get too enamored with the gear and they skip over all the other shit, and that's an important thing to, not get too focused on. It's like, you got to be, all things equal, great gear is great gear, but it's really about the performance in the song and the person.
Yeah. You know what? Great gear to me is almost like a skill for a musician. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? It's the kind of shit you want to know and have there, but you never need to think of it. That's why people rehearse or practice, because it's a craft that then you lean on without even needing to think about it.
Yeah.
But I think I do think it's really it's certainly important to me at the minute anyway. I don't geek out. I don't, you know what I mean? When I set up my drums, I started doing the Glenn Johns thing, and then I've sort of adapted it, and then I've just kind of gone for whatever this,
Yeah.
move it around, turn shit about, see what sounds good, what feels
Exactly.
good.
Yeah.
But I think there is like having a certain standard of equipment that you do that through. It allows you a bit more room to move.
Yeah.
You got a wee fly there? Is that a mosquito? What is that?
It's a fly. Jesus. Yeah, I'd never even thought of it that way. That's a great way to think about it. It's like a scale. It's like music theory for a musician, where it's like, yeah, it's important to know, but don't, forget it once you know it, kind of thing. Like once you're in it, that's what you sort of fall back on to, as your base, which is important and an interesting way to think about it. I hadn't actually ever thought about that, but that's exactly what it is. Like the Glenn Johns thing you're saying is, you start out with the Glenn Johns, and then after a while you're like, I need to move this, and it's like, had you not started with how it's supposed to start, then you wouldn't know where you want to move it and what to do and
right.
all that shit. So
it's important, right?
It is
the whole
important.
process is all important.
Yeah.
It's important to ditch it too. Throw it out the window. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Read the rule book and then rip the fucker up.
Yeah. Use it for rolling papers.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing, and I'm gonna keep that in mind when I keep going forward, because I like that a lot. I'm really interested. I'm really fascinated with everybody I've talked to, but with you specifically, because Jesus, this fly is gonna drive me fucking crazy. Where did he come from?
It's turned into an episode of Breaking Bad here.
Yeah.
You and your fucking cyber meth lab.
Yes, right outside we're cooking meth. I mean, this is Arizona, and I am in a very methy part of town. So it's The Walking Dead out there sometimes.
Wow.
With you specifically, I mean, it's no secret I'm just a massive fan of yours. Every time anybody asks what my favorite project I've ever worked on, it's always your project, The Wild Swan. It was just so much fun, and I love what you do. And I'm really interested where music started for you. Is it something that was always around the house growing up, or is it something that you came into later?
No, it was always there.
Yeah.
There's a tape of me when I was 3 years old. When I was like 8 months old, me, my dad, my three older brothers, and my mum moved to Oklahoma, Canton, Oklahoma.
Okay.
And we would send tapes back and forth, audio tapes back and forth to my granny and granda's back home, and cousins and all that, and aunties, whatever. And they would send them in return back, and I've got all these tapes still.
You do?
Yeah, it's kind of wild. But there's one of me, and I couldn't be but 3 years old, if that, and I'm singing that song, but is it Debbie Boone? You know that song, you light up my life, you give me hope to carry on. I'm singing it at 2 or 3 years old, whatever it is, and my brothers go to join in, and I get so pissed off, I stop and I'm shouting at them, no, I'm singing it. I'm singing, you know what I mean? I'm clearly going, you're fucking it up, you guys don't know how to, shush.
Yeah.
So I think it was there from the get-go. I come out with it.
Yeah. That is so funny.
Or it came out with me, I don't know.
Yeah. It's one of those two things that it's just, there's certain people that it's just like, it's innate. It's like born into them. And there's some people that have an aptitude towards it, and they can build into it. But I would just from knowing you, what I know of you, it seems like it's just that was going to come out of you no matter what you did. If you were laying bricks somewhere, you'd still be writing songs and singing. Yeah. So it's just, to me at least, that seems like it's
no, well, you're bang on. In 1999, I was laying bricks and writing songs. Well, not laying bricks, actually. Not laying bricks. I was never I was given the hammer to knock things down. You go and knock that wall down, or knock this. Get those tiles off the wall, like a dog's body.
Yeah.
A husband or whatever, not even. So, yeah, but you know what? Like my dad sang all the time. He was bitten, completely smitten. So was my granny.
Uh-huh.
So, you know what I mean? So there's like and anytime there was a family get together, for as far back as I can remember, there was music.
Really?
You know, music was integral to, you know, yeah, you would never have a get together and not have music at it. Especially if my granny was there.
Yeah.
She would insist. Yeah. You know?
Insist.
She would insist everybody had to do something.
That's
and I would sing the Bonnie Banks of Loch Lomond for her. She liked that one.
That's awesome. I mean, there's no better way to just instill music than to sing me something. Especially when it's your grandma. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, I will. Yeah.
And she would have sang at the drop of a hat. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
She loved it, yeah.
I'm always kind of jealous of those things. Like growing up, like music was always around, but as listeners, my parents were always like very heavily into listening to music, and that was sort of, you know, we're around the house or cleaning house or just doing stuff outside. There was always music, and it was always sort of this thing. But it was nobody in my family still played. My dad played drums in high school and stuff, and would always like, you know, sort of show me things or like tell me about this band or whatever. But it was never in the house until I was sort of like insistent enough to like, please just buy me a fucking guitar, because I wanted drums at first. And my dad, having been a drummer, was like, there's no fucking way we're having a drum set in this tiny house. Can't do it. So I finally got them to like buy me an acoustic guitar, because we had an acoustic elective class every Friday at my high school. And I wanted desperately to like be in it because all my friends were in it. And I was like, well, I'm the only one that's not in it. So they finally got them to buy me like an acoustic guitar. And then it just was like, that was it for me. It was like just consumed my brain. But it's
a wild moment, isn't it? It's a wild moment. Well, it's like many wild moments. Music, many just kind of where, you know, your mind gets blown with something. You know, whether, you know, like at the minute I've been listening to Domi and JD Beck. Do you know those guys?
I don't.
Domi and JD Beck. You know, the between the pair of them, they look like they've a joint age of 19. They're kids. Like they're kids.
Yeah.
Just Google it. DOMI and JD Beck.
Okay.
And listen to anything. Just listen to anything. It's incredible. Music keeps on delivering that kind of mind explosion for me. We just go a whole universe.
Yeah. That's one of the most incredible things about it is, you know, it can go from that moment where you're like, now I'm obsessed about it, or as like, you know, having been in the music business for a long time, you can kind of really get jaded by music or just get exhausted by it. For the longest time, it's like, you know, I would drive home from the studio or drive to the studio with nothing on the radio. And it's like, you're just kind of exhausted by it at that moment. Or it's difficult. For me, it was difficult to turn the production part of my brain off when I'm listening to something and just enjoy it. But sort of the older, I guess it's just the phases of life, though. The more I'm around, the more I listen, and the more just different things blow your mind that wouldn't have at another point of time. You know what I mean? Like a really simple song that maybe when I was 26, I would have just glanced over. At 32, I listen and go like, oh, this is so brilliant, the way that they put this together. You know, the appreciation of just the songcraft. And
well, you're, you know, bit more hair on your chin now, haven't you? Your balls have dropped and everything.
A little, yeah. Slightly, yeah. No, not quite. Just a tiny bit. And this is like a weekend, man. This is sad. I'll never be able to get the Foy Vance, but I've come to terms with it.
I don't know. Just don't shave. Just don't ever shave it. It'll go through some awkward phases. You know, you're gonna look odd for a minute. You know.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. My wife can't stand it. She's like, "You look terrible. Shave it." It's awful. But it is funny how that music, those moments can sort of define and set you on a path that you weren't on before. And you said you were music was always around you. At what point do you get in bands in high school? Do you get in bands in college? Like, what? Where do you go from
Yeah,
there?
a little. You know, like music, like I said, it was always there, but it was kind of a private thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the mates that I knocked around with, it's not that, I don't know, we didn't really talk about music as much, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it was kind of something that it was like a private hobby, and I was quite happy for it to be that, you know what I mean? Because I could spend hours in my room, no bother. I had never any trouble being on my own because, or was never bored because there was always, you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
just get lost in this little world of trying to figure shit out.
Yeah.
Like a puzzle.
Yeah.
A puzzle that you can never all you can do is ever just get that wee corner right. You go, okay, we got that bit, and then you realize, shit, this puzzle is fucking it's infinite.
Yeah, you get
it just
one
goes
side
out
done
into the
and then,
outer reaches of our universe. You know, it's like there's no keeps on giving.
Yeah, there's no end to it. You start to get one thing figured out, and it undoes another thing, and it's like this it's like nailing Jello to the wall. You know, you can never quite get what you want out of it, but it's just enough to keep you coming back. It's like me in golf. It's like I'll play a round of golf and just get pissed drunk and only hit one shot all day that doesn't make me want to snap my club in half, but it's enough to make you go, I'll be back. You know.
I don't know. Golf is I you know what? I like golf. I actually like saying the word
golf.
Makes me feel a bit like Gollum or something. Golf. I like it, and I like the game. I like watching the game. Actually, it's a very therapeutic game to watch. But playing it, I went on I was on tour, and there was a driving range thing out the back. It was on a pond, and you would try and chip the balls onto these little islands.
Mm-hmm.
And I played that for about 2 hours, and then for the next 2 weeks, could hardly walk. Like literally.
Yeah.
There's something about a swing. It's just unless you've kind of started that from young.
Yeah.
It's so unnatural to me to, you know. I'd love to be able to play it, but I'm kind of glad I don't play it actually, because it takes 6 hours to go into, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a commitment.
And if you want to get good at it, you need to play it all the time. Who's got that amount of time, you know?
Not me, that's for sure.
That's why I play pool.
Play pool.
Yeah.
To me, that's an equivalent one. I know it's like on the surface, it's a simple game. You put the ball in the hole, but I'm just like I know it's way more complicated than that. And I remember when we all went and played, and I just
at Melrose or not Melrose?
Yeah,
is it Melrose?
Yeah,
Melrose Billiards.
Yeah. And I think I won one game, and it was like I was just terrible at it. But it's a blast, especially when like sort of the social aspect of it, when you can get together with friends and not only like, you know, bust each other's balls over it, and it's fun. But I do like the brevity of the game compared to golf, where it's, you know, 6-hour thing on a Saturday. And
yeah, you know what? Even if you want to go and do like a wee par 9 or whatever they're called, you know, like a 9-hole course.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can get up there and play 4 or 5 frames. There we go. Happy, back to work.
Yeah. No,
done.
Back to it.
That's done and dusted in 15 minutes.
Yeah. That's
You need to get yourself a pool table or crazy golf. Build a wee crazy golf out your back garden.
Yeah. Yeah. We used to have a pool table growing up. That was nobody ever played it, but I think a pool table would be nice. Where was I going with that? I lost it.
I can't remember. 1 minute we were talking about the sort of cosmic qualities of music, and then I think I brought it back to pool somehow. It's always going to come back to pool, I think.
I think I did it. I think I brought it to pool. Golf, pool?
Did you?
I don't know. But I really share that the sort of same sentiment that you expressed of like music's just sort of a private thing. Like that was me in high school and through college. Was like I don't care if I'm in a band. I had people and friends that were like trying to get me to like start a band or you know, come over and jam, and it was like I don't really care. Like I can be in here all day, all night, and just, you know, work at this thing for a while. And then, you know, when I was in college, it was sort of Okay, well, this is just a way to like stay busy, have fun, and like go get drunk on the weekends and all that sort of thing, and that spiraled me into doing this now. But what at what point do you start like writing songs and going and playing them for people? Were you sort of doing that the whole time?
No. I started writing. Yeah, I started trying to write songs. The first song I ever remember writing was my dad tried to write a song with me when I was 6.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. We had just moved back from the States. We were in Bangor. We were in 36 Breezemount Close, and we were writing a song. It was a blues thing. But it was shit. I remember at the time him coming up with the words "baby" and "love" were in it, and I just thought, nah. Even then,
even at 6, you're like, no, this doesn't meet my standards.
Yeah, I don't know if this doesn't feel right. But that's the first memory of ever being around. We can just write a song. I'm like, well, okay. And this, I guess I tried to write when I was like 14, 15. I was always writing little things. I guess I didn't know it was, I was writing stupid songs, silly things, or and obviously then anytime I tried to write anything, about a situation of any substance, it would come out like a 15-year-old writing a song about something. You know what I mean? Just like pseudo fucking bullshit.
Just surface level shit.
Just stuff you've read or your dad said, and just put a load of phrases that sound cool together and sound really deep. Put them all in there. That sort of thing. And then I guess what happened with me was I kind of kept the songwriting thing as that was very private, but I kind of hopped around from job to job and always was around music. And then I got into some cover bands was what happened.
Yeah.
And I was with this cover band for a couple of years. Soul Truth, they were called. And it was only after a couple of years that it dawned on me, hang on, this is the only thing I'm doing. Like, I'm not doing anything else. I'd lost every job I'd ever got. You know what I mean? But then I sort of over time, it was like, it wasn't a lot of money, but it was enough to sustain me from week to week. And I don't know, I guess I was a bit slow on the uptake then. but at that moment, it kind of dawned on me, shit, yeah, I could, if I just thought about this right and plotted it a bit better, I could probably just do this and nothing else for the rest of my life and be happy.
Yeah.
And I feel like the second I made that decision, that was it. I was already happy. I was like, fuck yeah, fuck work, yeah. I'm going to go and make music and do what I want for my life. How about that?
Yeah. I love that you had that realization while you were already doing it, but you'd already been in it. And went like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it took me a while to kind of cotton on. Well, I think I was just, you know what I mean? I was that was between the, age of like 18 to 20.
Yeah.
So I was very productive in other ways in those years, touring around the country.
Yeah.
I was busy in myself.
Yeah.
But just not with focusing on a career. I suppose I had always had it in my mind. It was a cover band. It was I was writing my own stuff. At some stage, I was going to go off and do that. And
yeah.
But then I guess the penny dropped. I thought, well, hang on. Why don't I just stop this shit for a while, this cover band stuff, get a normal job, and just focus wholeheartedly on writing songs. And then as soon as I get enough songs to exhibit them, do exactly the same as I did with the cover band. Just go out and play anywhere you can, and then go back and play again, and then go back and play again. And
yeah.
The one thing that is stronger than anything, I think, in this business, or in the sense that we're talking now, is word of mouth. Like doing stuff, like people telling other people.
Yeah.
See that band, or that drummer, book that drummer, he's the guy, or that artist, check them out. That's worth its weight in gold. So I kind of figured I'll get the songs together, I'll go out and I'll play them. Anyone that likes them will come back, and if I'm worth my salt, if I'm still touring in 4 or 5 years and there's 8 people showing up in Galway. It's maybe time to it's maybe time to knock it on the head or rethink this. You know, come up with a different sort of strategy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, I don't know if that answered the question. I've kind of forgotten what the question was.
No, it's great. I love hearing. I'm always fascinated of people's journeys through this, because it's such a strange and tough business, and everyone has their own path through it. So it's always just interesting.
Now more so than ever, Colton.
Now, yeah.
Now more so than ever. I that's one thing I do have concerns about, is like, young artists coming up now, especially in the UK, where it looks like they're going to have to, I mean, hopefully we can get this rectified, but it looks like at the minute, if you're an artist and you're a UK resident, you want to go on tour in France or Spain or Portugal or Germany or Poland, there's separate visas for each one.
Oh, right. Is this the Brexit thing, right?
Yeah.
Fuck.
I don't know, and also, like, what is the live industry? I don't mean to be, the fucking prophet of doom here, but like, what is the live industry going to look like? It's not going to go back to 100% straight away.
No,
people are going to be dubious, and then how do artists who at one point could go out and build their shit on the road, like those venues that used to house these smaller things, are they going to still exist? Like,
yeah, a lot of them have shut down. It's
that's what I'm saying. It's kind of crazy times. The music's going to emerge for sure,
right?
Because it's like a fucking, the flour and the coming out of the concrete, right?
Yeah,
it'll find a way.
Yes,
but it's just intriguing to like how.
Yeah, that's a really important point, and one that I hadn't really given a lot of thought to until this past summer. I was already living here in Phoenix, but I had to fly back to Nashville for a gig, and it was for a very, very well known like artist that is as big as it gets for like touring. As far as touring goes, I don't know if there's anybody that gets bigger. And they were saying that, like, look, this is going to be a long, long time before things get going, because the little venues might be able to open back up, but all the stadium and all these bigger like mid-level venues and acts, like, you all have to get your the ducks in a row as far as scheduling, then who gets first priority there. And it's just gonna, like, it's this long, like, it's a big ship to turn, and it's gonna take a really long time to get it to turn. So that was one of those moments where I just went, oh fuck, maybe this is gonna take a lot longer than I thought it is.
But listen, don't you think there are new like new tributaries online?
Yeah.
People really exploring their online content with, yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm not intrigued enough to try and be too big a part of it. I'm happy doing what I'm doing here, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I'm intrigued to see what happens, and I'm intrigued to see the positive out of this, the route out of it.
Yeah.
And I hope a lot of these venues get the support they deserve locally.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really interesting, and I think, the sense of community that's gonna have to emerge out of this, I think it's gonna make everything. I think it's gonna make us a little stronger. Maybe those, the sort of regional circuits where bands are really kind of competitive and shitty. Maybe that won't be quite as much of the attitude. Maybe we'll come out of this with a new appreciation for each other as artists and musicians, and be more supportive, and hopefully just come out of this stronger. Like, I was talking to a buddy the other day of, like, the artists that can hang on through all this, because I still don't even know how long it's going to be till we can kind of get back to work, but the artists that are able to hang on and persevere, I feel like are going to have some pretty great stuff to say, like to put words or a melody, to put a feeling to all the angst and hopelessness that a lot of us have felt for the last year and some months. I think it's going to be an important thing. So I think the ones that make it through, hopefully are going to have a lot, like, some of their best material. You know what I mean?
Let's hope.
Let's hope.
Let's hope.
So,
man, do you mind if I smoke on your podcast? I know it's not very professional, but
I could not care any less.
I kind of rolled. I was meant to have it before we hopped on, but
no, do what you want to do. This is as much yours as mine.
Is it our podcast?
It is now, right now.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
No, man, don't. I mean, do whatever you want. I'm gonna pour a little more coffee.
Do it. There you go. You can just edit out every time I bring it in for a puff.
Unless you want me to. Don't matter to me. Smoke as much as you want.
It's a bit of an embarrassing addiction to have. But
there's worse.
Perhaps a nervous thing.
It's a nervous.
You're making me nervous.
Oh, it's making
You're making me nervous, Colton.
Oh man, I doubt that. I wanted to. We kind of touched on sort of how you started, but what's the songwriting process like for you? I'm sure it's changed over the years, but are you someone that is like writes every day, really regimented, like this is the time I'm going to sit down and do this, or is it kind of like this is gonna whatever comes, and I'm just gonna catch that shit in a bottle when it gets here?
Yeah, that. It's more.
That was an
like
oversimplification.
I play every day. You know what I mean? I play every day. You know what? I'm big on kind of staying interested. You know what I mean? I could never understand that when people are like really getting pissed off with a lyric or like, oh, fucking can't get it. And I think, well, just write it. Or if it's annoying you, then stop doing it and do something that makes you feel inspired.
Yeah.
Don't knock your head against the wall.
Yeah.
If it's not fun, stop it. Do the thing that you're enjoying. Just stop it.
Right.
Stop and go and do something else. And allow yourself. And that to me, that's what songwriting is. I think songwriting for me is kind of like it's like improvising with intent. Like a jazz musician improvises, and they have an intent, of course, but their intent is to follow the thread of wherever that goes, right?
Yeah.
Wherever it may lead, and because they've got the craft to follow in behind it and go wherever it wants to go, just take it somewhere. Whereas I think songwriting is kind of like improvising until you find that one bit, that you go, oh, that little turnaround's nice, or that vowel sounded nice over that cadence or whatever.
Yeah.
Something that catches your ear, and then that's okay. That becomes a bit more solid, and then you add to it a little bit like that. That's what it feels like to me, anyway.
The improvise and refine kind of thing.
Yeah, I think there's a time to employ your craft, but there's a time to just listen.
Yeah.
That's resonate what's going on around you type thing. That sounds really wanky, but you know what I mean?
No, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I've look, I will confession. Like when we were making the Wild Swan, Lowell and I would find excuses to go into the live room while you were writing or playing, just so we could listen to you go through. Like, oh, we need to go wrap this cable, or we need to let's move this mic. Just because it was fascinating to listen to you write and sort of take a song and turn it upside down and shake it out and see, does this feel right for it, or no, let's move to this sort of a feel, and all within the same lyrics and the same spirit of the song, but you change the feel or change complete vibe, and just sort of looking for, I guess, that inspiration or that moment.
Where it feels good.
Yeah.
Right? And also that is largely about listening. I think all too often, people can get caught up. It's easy to get caught up in, what you're doing as opposed to listening to what you're doing. I mean, that's kind of a hard thing to do, really. You can't really hear yourself properly. But,
sure.
What am I trying to say? I think you can tell when people are, playing what they think they should, and you can tell when they're listening to what's going on around them.
Yes.
You can tell, you just immediately know, okay, there's a conversation going on here, and everyone's, okay, that feels good.
Yes.
It's not always easy to put your finger on, okay, what's wrong here? But you know when it's not right.
Yeah.
And you know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. like when we were recording Noam Chomsky's A Soft Revolution, and Eric Darkin came in with that little sort of side drum thing, you know, and we run it a couple of times. I can't remember what it was he was playing, but it sort of wasn't feeling right. As soon as he sat on that, it was like, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And that was what was missing all along.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's incredible, that guy.
Oh, I love that guy. He's just
me too.
He's just like a fun session cartoon character. Like he's just like anything's an instrument for him. I mean, I'm trying to think. Is it Burden or Banger? He's playing a trash can.
Oh, with the bin, the trash can.
Yeah, he's playing a trash can with a paper or with a plastic bag in it, and it's like, well, that sounds awesome.
Great,
it sounds perfect. It's awesome. I've seen him play like a bag of potato chips, and it's just like nothing's. He's like a kid, you know. And I love having him on.
I know, I love it. The guy's got 4 articulated lorries filled with like handmade percussion, and he plays potato chips. You know?
Yeah. It's like you showed an entire semi truck full of percussion and shit showed up, and you grabbed the snacks off the counter, and that's what you played. I love it. And I also love one of his expressions I use all the time is I'm a big fan of once, and that's an important thing in production or songs, like song crafting, is like sometimes just having that one thing pop up once is perfect instead of you know, you find something that's really gratifying and satisfying, you want to like hit people over the head with it, you know, and just having
just leave it at a wee kiss behind the ear.
Yeah.
And they keep looking for the one on the lips, and you go, no,
come on. Yeah. Come on. Killing. Yeah. That's I love that about Eric. He's just fun. And yeah.
He's great to work with.
Yeah, this is funny. I had notes, but I don't think we've really touched on any of them. I keep looking at them and I don't know why. I think I'm just nervous. But
don't be.
Nah. This is I mean, you were one of the first people I sort of was like, man, I'd love to get to talk to a handful of people if I can get this thing to a certain point. So I'm really grateful that you took the time to do this. So
not at all, dude. No, as soon as I can't even remember where it showed up, or did someone send it to me? Because me and the boys, Colin and Connor, would follow you on the Instagram, you know, with your shit Rick Rubin didn't say. So I can't remember, did they send it to me or what happened? Oh man! But I saw you didn't have a guest on your podcast, and I was going, "What? Colton's got a podcast? I didn't even know he had a podcast."
Yeah.
And it just so happened when I went to check, you'd just done the one with Jakir.
Yeah.
So I gave that a listen.
Oh, that's funny. The shit Rick Rubin says. I'm just like, I'm a little nervous that it. Well, I don't think it'll ever make it to Rick, but there's people that I think follow me that are friends with him that I'm like, fuck it. I think they're funny, so it doesn't matter.
I don't imagine he would. Why would he be pissed off with that? Sure, what's wrong with that?
I don't know. It's just fun.
It's shit he didn't say. It'd be different if you were going, shit I think he says in private. That would be very different.
Yeah.
You're saying shit he didn't say.
Yeah, a bunch of like really sketchy stuff that you're like, maybe not. Yeah. I want to move to a couple just sort of rapid fire questions here, if that's okay with you.
Shit.
Let's see.
As many as you like. Don't expect rapid fire answers though.
No,
there could be a lot of.
I call it rapid fire, but it never is. It's always just tangents. So, do you have a favorite bad action movie?
A favorite bad action movie?
Or just action movie, but generally they tend to be pretty bad. So.
Yeah. Well, there's a difference, because like a good action movie, like the Bourne series.
Yes.
That's a good action, or I suppose that's more, is that thriller action? I don't know what you would call it.
I would call that action.
But action movie, you're talking like, you know, kind of Predator, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, that kind of Sly and Schwarzenegger, that sort of thing.
Exactly. That's the exact genre I'm talking about.
Bad action movie. Do you know what? There's one that I watched years ago by Peter Jackson called, is it Zombies from Space? Is it Zombies from Space?
Zombies from
really,
Space?
No, it's called Bad Taste.
Bad taste.
It's called Bad Taste.
Okay.
And it isn't such bad taste. Look, pre-warning anyone that hears this and thinks, "Oh, I'll go and give that a watch." It's pretty out there.
I wrote it down because I'm gonna look it up.
There you go. I'm gonna pick that.
Good. I love these.
It's pretty gross, but it's pretty funny too.
I just love bad action movies. They're my guilty pleasure. Although it's not so much guilty pleasure because I just tell everybody about it. Dream car. Do you have a dream car?
Well, do you know what? Yeah, I guess I do. A 1974 black Mustang convertible would be nice.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, but I don't. I can't see me ever doing that.
It'd be tough to find out there.
Oh, you can find them.
Yeah,
you can find them. Just I'm already embarrassed enough about the car I drive. Sometimes I park it around the corner before I go into the shops, just in case anybody judges.
Well, now I have to know what it is.
No, I'm not going to tell you now because it'll just sound bougie,
Okay.
It's my friend's car. It's not even mine.
Oh, sure, yeah.
No. We actually have a wee Leaf, a Nissan Leaf, an electric car.
Yeah. Those are good. I've driven those. What's your... Do you have a place that you're...
Go ahead. Don't chicken out. What was it?
What? No,
did you chicken out halfway through the question?
What's is there a place that you're just chomping at the bit to get back and play? Is it? I mean, this is kind of the tough question because everyone just wants to get back out and play. But is there a spot or a venue that you're like, man, I just can't wait to get back in here?
Not in particular, if I'm being really honest. I mean, I could feign an answer here for sure, because there are places that I love playing, and that when they're on in the diary again, I'm sure I will look forward to it. But right now, I'm looking forward to another year of not touring. You know what I mean? I did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did it for a long time, and you soon lose the glamour. Even as the kind of the touring gets better, the venues get bigger. You can get a bus or whatever.
Sure.
It's still, you know what I mean. I'm not going to bitch because there's other people with way tougher jobs.
Yeah.
But just mentally,
it's exhausting.
Yeah, mentally exhausting and physically exhausting too. Obviously, different time zones and. Sometimes unable to sleep, adrenaline after a show or whatever, and then you're on a bus and yada yada. You know the crack. So it's kind of, I don't know. It kind of got me into a pretty negative routine physically.
Sure.
And mentally.
Yeah.
Shows were going great, but I was deteriorating, and I kind of called it. So, all right, that's why I pulled that Anderson East tour. I was meant to tour with Anderson East, and I felt and feel horrible about it because it's the first time I've ever pulled the tour, and it's the first time he's ever, and he didn't even pull the tour. I pulled it on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But he's very understanding because it was what it was.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah. Well,
I couldn't. I had to get home and had to just have a bit of regularity and get back to writing. I hadn't finished my album at that point. I had loads to do. I just didn't need to be out on the road again.
Yeah. Do you find that when you would go through periods of being home after getting off a tour that you're restless? And like need something to do, or does it take you a while to readjust to getting back home and just being in that space, or is it relatively easy for you to just slot back into home life?
No, I didn't find it easy.
No,
but I think that's because I pushed it hard for a good few years. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like the majority of the year for 3-4 years. 8 months a year type thing. It was just crazy schedule. So yeah, I've sort of lost track of what was the question there?
Oh, just getting back home and feel.
Oh like, yeah, getting back in. No, I didn't find it. I think maybe because I'd done it so
Yeah.
extensively for such a long period of time. Until literally a couple of months ago, I still had stuff in a suitcase.
Really?
Yeah, and I've been off the road since November 4th, 2017.
Wow.
And the stuff that isn't in a suitcase now is in a pile at the bottom of a wardrobe. It's not hung up or anything. No kind of.
Yeah. I mean? Did it feel cathartic to take it out of the suitcase?
It did actually. Yeah, it did. It did.
Yeah. That's it's interesting. I'm glad you took the time to take care of yourself, because we need you around. We need more of you. Last record you listened to, front to back,
from top to bottom. I believe it was the new Blake Mills, with Blake Mills, Pino Palladino, and the Sam. I think there's a handful of folks. I can't remember what they might be the name for the band, but I think it's just Blake and Pino.
Those are some killers.
Have you heard it?
I've heard clips of it. I didn't even know it was out, honestly.
Yeah, it's called Notes with Attachments.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the last one I listened to. Yeah.
Okay, I gotta listen.
Top to bottom.
Blake's obviously ridiculous, and Pino's like my favorite bass player ever. So I need to get into.
But
that.
this stuff's otherworldly. That's what I love about Blake. He's always pushing himself and the sound. It's never, you know what I mean? It's never the same thing twice.
Yeah, he's such a fascinating character, man. I'm just it takes me a bit to like wrap my head around where he's going, because he's so brilliant and such an amazing player. Often for me, I'm like distracted at first by what he's doing on guitar, or I'm like, what is this? Because he's so, I don't know, he's just so far above my level sometimes, where I have to like take it in pieces, and then I'm like, oh man, he's just so. He's brilliant. I love him.
Yeah, he is brilliant, man. He is brilliant. And the thing is, like, such a great guitar player. I think everyone expected him to just come out with some kind of wailing guitar shit, and he has avoided it like the plague.
I know.
Even though he would, eat and shit it, he has just gone for his own journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I love about it. And he sort of puts that into his songwriting, though, which I think is really an interesting thing too. Like, I know John. Like, I kind of always thought of John Mayer a little bit like that too, where it's like he's a really fantastic guitar player, but at first, his first couple records were all about the songwriting, and then the more you dig into what he's playing on guitar, you're like, oh wow, he's really accomplished and knows what he's doing, but you just don't.
Got some
can't tell what's going on unless you really dig in. So I'm always a huge fan of that kind of shit. Call, text, or FaceTime?
FaceTime.
FaceTime. All right.
Yeah, FaceTime or text. I text here at the computer. I don't have a phone anymore.
Okay.
So I text on my iMessage or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, a mixture of those two, but
I like it.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Face text. Text time. Just a mixture of the two.
Yeah. Have you noticed, how long have you not had a phone? It's been a bit.
A good couple of months now, maybe 3 months now.
Have you noticed?
Do you know what happened, man? I lost it.
Okay.
I lost it one morning, and I was looking for it for about an hour. And then it dawned on me. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Looking for this? I've got stuff to do. Like, I've got stuff to be getting on with, and I don't need to call anyone. I just go and work. So I came out and I worked for the day, and then I sort of forgot about it and went to bed and went, shit, where is that phone? And then I just left it, thought, fuck it, I'm going to leave it lost.
Yeah. And
I couldn't believe the change. Within 3 days, I couldn't believe the kind of, like a newfound mental capacity.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is like
I didn't feel as kind of, I don't know, getting up of a day. There's shit I was missing, like texts from my brothers, which I miss, but, you know, a lot of it was just jokes and stuff, which is cool. But then, you know, before you know it, you've gone down a rabbit hole and you're watching cats fall off walls or whatever, right? Or lions eat sharks. How does that happen? That's got to see that.
Yeah.
How did they throw a lion in the what? You know.
Yeah.
You're watching the weirdest shit you can find. You know.
Yeah.
Not that I do that, of course, but.
It's so easy. That's why I was asking.
A lion eating a shark. I would want to see that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna have to Google it.
Yeah. Did somebody throw the shark on land? Did the lion go to the shark? Is it like what? How does that occur? Yeah, no, it's really interesting, and I was curious of like how you felt, and I'm not surprised to hear that you feel better not having it around, because you know, in the last year or so, I guess, I don't know how long it's been, but I've sort of upped Instagram presence and just internet presence, trying to build the business here and build podcasts or whatever. And it's this constant thing of like, okay, I got to do this thing now, or I got to put something up, or it's like to get into the algorithm, and it's all the stupid buzzword bullshit things that go along with the new thing that. The days I take off are just like, oh yeah, I feel way like, there's like this mental to-do list of like, oh, you still haven't done this thing, or you need to do this, or you need to like, it's kind of gone. And it's just this, like you said, the mental capacity like sort of increases, where it's like, the perfect example is it's so designed to just suck you in. Like yesterday I had to look up someone's Instagram handle in order to put it into text for a podcast, and I opened up Instagram, and 5 minutes later I'm like, the fuck did I come on here for? I was scrolling, I'm like, god damn it, I was here for one thing. I opened it up just to get somebody's handle, and it sucked me right in. And there's days he's just like, man, I need to just go camping and get rid of this thing for a couple of days just to reset. So I admire that.
But you know what? You're right though. Like socials are very important, especially to you start, you know, new business. You want to keep on top of that, and you know, if I'm releasing a record or whatever, you know, we'll kind of up that. But you know, it's like it's good to have a good relationship with it. Like you say, not look at it, put your stuff on there, and you know,
post and run.
Yeah, leave it at that. Leave it at that. I don't engage with it other than that, really.
Yeah. It can be tricky.
I think it's bad for you, if I'm being honest.
I think it is too. It's the way, you know, Facebook's even more caustic than Instagram. It's just the way it works is to just try to get you engaged. The way to get you engaged is to get you pissed off or show you shit you don't really, you know, agree with, or people that, you know, are easy to disagree with, and it's just it just creates nothing but negativity most of the time. So,
do you know what I mean? My dad always used to say, you know, opinions are like arses, son. Everyone has one, and most of them stink.
Yeah. That's so true. And
Twitter and online world is never a clearer example. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, I can only handle
shit
Twitter for like 5 minutes. I'm on Twitter for 5 minutes to like check a couple like political journalists, and then you're like, oh my God, I can't handle this anymore. It's like, God, I don't even know why I dip my toe in anymore. It's just
don't.
No,
just don't.
That's the answer, and it's so difficult. Well, that's it for my rapid fire questions. Really, this is, since I call the podcast One More for Safety, which everybody that's been in recording studio has probably heard that phrase 100,000 times. This is sort of the One More for Safety question, and I've got a couple different.
Is this
ones.
like a standard question, like the James O'Brien sort of? You know, you get the.
No, there's a handful that I rotate through, but
right.
No, I usually try to pick one for the person. So I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with this one. What do you want your headstone to read?
Woo! Well, before I answer this, can I tell you that you know Spike Milligan, the comedian?
I know that name from something, but I don't think I'm very familiar with his work.
Just Google Spike Milligan.
Okay.
On his gravestone it says, "I told you I was ill."
I have heard that one. That is fucking.
Although
great.
it says it in Irish, actually, it's written in Irish. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, they wouldn't. I can't remember what the story is. They wouldn't print it in English.
That is so.
Or
funny.
no, is it? He wanted it printed in Irish, and they printed it in English. I think that's what it is. Actually, there's a contention with it. I can't quite.
I told you I was ill.
Anyway, what's it going to say on mine? I don't know. Probably my name. Hopefully born 1974, died 21/25 due to some kind of new injection. New vaccine, some mutation from the vaccine. Or he's living on.
I told you I didn't want that
as
fucking
a wart
vaccine.
with legs,
yeah.
You know.
I like it. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't like to think about that. Those who aren't busy living are busy dying. Is that what Bob Dylan? Is that what the Bob Dylan lyric is?
I think we just found what you put on there. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah, just steal a bit of Bob. Yeah. Although I wouldn't quote Bob Dylan beneath it now because he doesn't own it anymore. What would I have to do? You know, those who aren't busy living are busy dying. Coca-Cola. who bought Bob Dylan's rights? Do you know this?
I don't know.
You know he sold them all, right?
Yeah. Shit.
Unless I'm going crazy, unless I dreamt this.
No, I thought he did.
But I'm pretty sure Bob Dylan sold all his rights to everything. Like sold one of these, acquisition deals or whatever.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because he was in some commercials where I was just like, really? The songs, those are in that. It was like a Victoria's Secret commercial, I think, too, where you're like, that doesn't add up. But yeah, I don't know. Well, look, man, that's all I got. I can't tell you how thankful I am and how grateful I am that you came on. You're one of my favorite people and one of my favorite artists, writers in the world. So I think the world of you. So I'm just really glad that we got to do this.
Thank you, mate. The feeling's mutual.
Yeah.
Not your songwriting or anything. I'm not that big a fan of your songwriting, but you're a good shredder.
Oh no, that's I just do that just to stay sane. Like you said, you play every day, I play every day, and sometimes I just. You there?
I am. Yeah. Sorry, we're just
froze.
It's my intermittent net.
There you are. You're back. I think. No. Well, man.
Well, dude, no, the pleasure's mine. The pleasure's mine. By the way, thank you. They're all very kind words you just said. And no, it's lovely. It's lovely to catch up. And I'm going to send you a couple of links after this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
In fact, do you have a sign off for this? Do you have a sign off for this? And then can we keep talking for 5 minutes and put music? You know, like those talk shows. Then the lights go down and then they lean together and sort of whisper about stuff, and you're always wondering what they're whispering.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we should end your show like that.
Okay, I like it. I need to get like a graphics department or something, and we'll just have like the little graphics sort of go, and then So this has been One More for Safety, and thanks for being here.